Hey everybody, I've actually had some questions about my comic books that are in the background in my movie room where I keep all my DVDs and Blu-rays, and I wanted to do some quick a comic book video over one of my favorite authors. I am a huge comic book collector. These are just my graphic novels that are in here. A lot of my comic books I have in boxes, and they're in my bedroom in our closet. We have a really big closet for some reason in our bedroom, so I've got them stored in there. But I'm one of those guys who goes to the comic shop every week and picks up subscriptions and all that good stuff. So Green Lantern is my favorite superhero. For anybody who wants to know, that's where the Blu-ray Lantern comes from, kind of from the Blue Lantern Corps. But I wanted to just go through some of my graphic novels real quick. I collect all things Alan Moore. Again, Alan Moore, writer of Watchmen, and also things you may know like From Hell, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He's that guy, and he's written a lot of great stuff. He had a great run on Swamp Thing there, as you can see as well. But just kind of go through this set of graphic novels real quick, starting with this really cool edition of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's a big hardcover edition of that. And these are in no particular order, so sorry. And this is a really cool book called Alan Moore Storyteller. It actually came with a CD of his where he does some kind of experimental music and some poetry readings and things like that. So next up, we have The Extraordinary Works of Alan Moore, which is just kind of a autobiography of him. It goes through a lot of different things. It's really a neat book. Next up, this is The Ballad of Halo Jones. Titan Books put these out, so they're like a large size comic. Really cool. They came out. They're pretty old, actually. Well, I say pretty old, from the 80s. Next is book 2, and then we have book 3. Those are all really good. They were, I think, originally published in a British kind of cartoon magazine. Next, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 2, graphic novel. And then I'm actually going to take that one out so I can pull these out a little bit easier. Next up, we've got League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Century 1969. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Century 2009. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that's book volume 1, actually out of order. Next up, this is a really good one. It's based on the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Captain Nemo, and it's The Heart of Ice. It's really good. Then also Nemo, The Roses of Berlin, also a good one. This is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 3, Century, which has a lot of great things in it as well. Then we have Nemo, River of Ghosts. Then Swamp Thing. This is just, I have all these in hardcover editions, but just thought this one was really cool because it's older. And these are some of my favorite works by Alan Moore. If you've never read his Swamp Thing stuff, his take on Swamp Thing is just fantastic, and the artwork in these is beautiful. Saga of the Swamp Thing, it's Volume 1. You've got Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. Volume 5, which is weird. It's a lot smaller than the other ones. And then Book 6. Next up, we've got Alan Moore, The Courtyard, also good. And then Fashion Beast, which is really kind of weird, but like it nonetheless. Hypothetical Lizard, I also have another edition of that as well that's in my room, another bookcase. Light of the Countenance, which is very interesting. A Small Killing. Sorry, I'm going to readjust here. Gotta get lower. Then we've got Supreme. He did some stuff for Image. He also did some Spawn and stuff, which is really cool. Captain Britain. We've got Alan Moore from the pages of the hit series Top 10 Smacks. Then Tom Strong, Book 2. I've kind of got just a few of these. Tom Strong, Book 6. And we've got Top 10. Top 10. Tom Strong again. I should kind of put these in some kind of order, sorry. V for Vendetta, fantastic story, love it. They did a good job on the movie as well. Century 1910, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Judgment Day, Rob Liefeld, and did the art, which I'm a huge fan of. A lot of people hate on Rob Liefeld. I love him. Prometheus, I have one of the absolute editions of Promethea, and it's really, really awesome. Oh, sorry. Let me get this one out. This is another Prometheus book. Then we've got Tomorrow Stories. It's really cool. Stories from the DC Universe. This has Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow and Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader. Then I have this hardcover edition of Watchmen. And I have a soft cover. I'm kind of obsessed with Watchmen, so I have a lot of versions. Also of the Absolute Edition. Disease of Language, Alan Moore. From Hell, great stuff. Bo Jeffrey's Saga. Wildcats. Another Wildcats. And another Wildcats. Then we've got Alan Moore's Writing for Comics. I'm a huge fan of this book. It just talks about how he writes for comics, you know, different stories in there about his writing and things like that. So it's really inexpensive too if you ever run across it. You can find it online for $5 or $6. And then this book, this Essential Alan Moore book, my wife always jokes with me because I've read this thing so many times. I have it kind of memorized, but it just is a just autobiography of all of his works, you know, so... And then one of his only novels that he ever wrote, Voice of the Fire. And I have yet to read this. I need to. Feel like a bad fan. And then we have a book. It's not Alan Moore didn't write this, but it's Considering Watchmen, Poetics, Property, Politics. Just kind of a study of Watchmen. And then lastly down here, one more Best of Crime Comics. It has some Alan Moore in there as well. So anyway, that's just a quick look into one of my collections in my graphic novels of Alan Moore. And I love him. He's awesome. If you've never read anything by him, Watchmen's an important piece of literature. A lot of people don't know, but Time Magazine named it one of the top, most influential pieces of literature in the past 100 years. So that's a pretty big deal for a comic book. But comics aren't just funny papers, man. There's some good stuff. So check out Alan Moore if you like that sort of thing. He's written a lot of great stuff. If you like this video, please give it a like. Also, subscribe if you haven't done that yet for more great videos on my Blu-ray collection and comic books. And also, if you liked this video and you'd like to see more comic videos, let me know. And let me know what you think of any of these books. Talk to you later.